Hey guys, today I'll be doing a fireplace surround for this living room here. The fireplace surround is going to consist of this particular thing that I've already put on. It's a composite quartz type material that I got at Lowe's. A lot of times people use granite pieces or quartz pieces by a granite installation place. They can measure out and custom make it for you. I decided to go this route. I really need to get it done right away. Didn't want to wait for the time and frankly the money that it costs to get a granite piece made, 3 of them made at a granite place. So these were at Lowe's. They're fairly inexpensive. I think they were like 40 bucks for a 6-foot section. So I ended up getting 2 sections. One I used to cut out these side pieces. They're about 33 inches or so, and the top piece out of the other piece. I used a tile adhesive. This is the type you can get at Lowe's, Home Depot, any of those stores. It's a white type of adhesive. Use an 1/8-inch trowel, sharp teeth. If you have uneven walls, you can use the 1/4-inch trowel. This way you put more on and you'll be able to manipulate it a little bit. This way you get a nice flat surface when you lay these pieces on. Like for example, this one's completely smooth with the one on the bottom. And I'll start doing my, the way I'm going to do this kind of from my own head. This is kind of whatever you like to do, you can do. Look up on Google, anywhere, Pinterest and whatnot, ideas of how you would like it. I got a certain idea. I looked at a couple pictures, kind of got an idea of what roughly I kind of want, and I'm just going to create it from my mind, really. I'm going to end up using a 2 3/4-inch strips. They're going to be same type of material as the baseboards are. They're the prime finish joint pine. You could use clear pine, anything like that. That's what I'm going to use. And for my strips and all my cross braces, and then after cross pieces, and then after I'm going to put some type of a mantle, maybe out of a piece of wood, some type of old rustic log, whatever you want to do, you can do. These are the things that you can do out of stone, you know, your stone surround around the fireplace. I choose to do it this way, just surround with this quartz, and then I'm just going to do strips. So kind of out of my own creativity, out of my own mind. And then there's going to be a TV mount on top here. It'll cover a lot of it, but the main features that will be on the side and on top, they'll still be visible, and on the sides actually. So let's get to it. So I nailed my first piece on top, and what I did, because I couldn't find what not thickness, but the width that I wanted at the store, I ended up taking my baseboard type material, and they're a 3/4 by 5.5, so I ended up ripping on a table saw, and that gave me almost a 2 3/4. So that's the thickness that I like, that's the thickness that I'm going to use. So the same piece that's on top, same pieces are going to run vertical and horizontal, anything I do here. So I ripped that and put that piece on top. I actually used a laser level. You can use a regular level. Measure out your spaces on the left side, right side. This way everything correlates. And then put your level, preferably at least a 4-foot. Draw a line. I put a couple marks on where my laser level shot the line, the vertical line. This way my first piece right away, I'm just going to nail on both sides and nail all the way to the top. And that's going to be my kind of my base, my beginning, my square template, I guess, from where I'm going to base my creativity idea of how I'm going to do it. Granted, I still don't know what I'm going to do, so I'm still deciding how exactly I want to do it. That's why I want to put these borders, the two side borders, the top, and then start creating it really in my mind. The main, I guess, idea is going to be almost like a board and batten siding, which this house is on the exterior. So you will have the strips, the vertical strips that are going to run probably about not 12 inches on center. I think I'm going to make them smaller because of a small space, narrower. Whereas on front of a house, you have obviously a large square footage, so you want more spaced out. This way they don't look all condensed. In this area, I'm going to condense them a little bit because I'm working with such a small area, and I want those features to pop out. So I'm going to go cut myself two pieces that are going to be 2 3/4 inch wide, and I think they're like 1 on 1. Obviously yours are going to be different. But that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to cut it and start nailing those things and go from there and figure out what we're going to do next. So I'm going to be using a DeWalt brad nailer. I'm going to use, these are 18 gauge 2-inch nails, 2 inches. By the time it goes through the 3 1/4 inch board with a sheetrock, gives it about a 3/4 inch inside the studs if I make it into the studs, which I'm going to locate with a stud finder. You could go the old-fashioned route and going based on sound. The hollow one is obviously with no stud. Once that sound gets more solid, that's where your stud is. But with this situation, I'm limited because of the symmetry that I'm trying to go with. So if there's no stud here, I'm just going to nail it. Then once I caulk everything, that caulk will solidify everything and it'll hold those strips very easily. I'm just putting in one nail for now. This way if I need to move anything, I can adjust it without ripping out a lot of nails. So I'm putting up the next strip. I got my measurement at the bottom because up against the fireplace trim in order to get the same size in this one. So for me it's 9.5. I grab it on this side. This is easier. This way you can just grab on and move your board whatever direction you need. Then continue down. And move on to the next one. I'm off by an 1/8 inch on this side. So I'm just gonna take a piece of 1x same one that I was ripping. Just gonna move this piece over. This way I'm not hammering right up against that trim, damaging it. If you have an uneven surface, which in this case, you see that one, all we're gonna do is take a shim, move that piece, put that shim behind, and hammer it in just a little bit. Even this out. Perfect. This will eliminate the extra spackling that you'll have to do at the end. Quick trick to break off the shim. Take your utility knife, score it a couple times. Make sure you have a nice sharp blade. Boom. Gonna do the same thing on this side. So at this point, I kind of have an outline of what the Fireplace Surround mantle will look like. And from here, I'm going to take some time right now, try to think what exactly I'm going to do. I might even take a level and draw some lines with a pencil. You can do that, or use tape to do whatever design that you want. Nice thing about tape or pencil, you put it on. If you don't like it, take it off or erase it, or just leave the pencil there and it'll paint over. But I'm going to think about what I'm going to do, because once I'm done with this area, after there's going to be a piece of wood, some type of mantle piece that's going to sit right in this area, and then the TV mount above it. So I want to see what I'm going to do, how I'm going to make this stand out. Maybe put another strip just like this one above here, and maybe do small strips. I believe this was, what did I do, 7 inches I think in between? Yeah, about 6 and 7/8. So I might maybe continue doing the strips like this, or maybe make them wider. Just a matter of whatever you guys want to do when you create your own. But I'm going to think about it, see what I'm going to do right now, and get back to the clip. Okay, so as of now, I have kind of a rough layout, what this layout is going to look like. The mantle, the surround. Now I'm just going to think to myself what exactly I want to do, and every one's is going to be different. If you want to copy this one, go ahead, by all means. But it's really up to the person who's going to be doing it. I mean, you could do so much more, just even with this design. You could put another one by across, then you put a mantle here, which I am going to do with a wood, some type of log mantle. You could put little strips along the vertical side. You could put a couple of verticals. I'll see what I'm going to do right now, and we'll see how that will turn out. I like using this Dry Dex putty. It goes on pink, and once it dries, it turns white. This way you know you can sand it. Very good stuff. Sometimes if you can't use sandpaper, you can use even a wet rag, slightly wet rag, and wipe the spots. If you, for example, if you have something already painted and you nailed it on, and you don't want to sand it and ruin that paint finish, you can wipe those spots, those holes that you put paste in with a damp rag, and it comes off just like sandpaper. You just have to rub it a little bit more, apply a little bit more pressure, but it comes off very easily. So I sometimes do that. That's just a little trick that I learned when I had painted baseboards and I needed them spackled. Instead of using sandpaper, I tried using damp rag, and it worked really well. So that's something that you can use. So this is what I came up with. Very simple, clean look. Still not sure if I'm going to add any more vertical strips or not, because a large portion of this will be covered up. There's going to be a mantle that's going to go right above this strip right here, and then a TV, which will probably start right at the top of the mantle, maybe just even a little bit higher. and it'll go probably like about to that portion there, maybe 12 inches from the top. So I'm not sure if I'm going to put any more strips because they will be covered up by the TV. Once I get the bracket and put the TV up, I'll see what that's going to look like. Okay, so while the spackle is drying, as you can see, it's getting some spots are already white. This stuff is still pink. While it's drying, I'll show you a quick tip on how to use a caulk gun to caulk all your seams and corners there. I always cut the caulk gun at an angle, and the hole should be about the thickness of this nail portion of it to puncture the hole inside of it. Even this particular one doesn't have it, so you don't need to puncture, but the thickness diameter should be about like that. That's kind of the sweet spot that I found. And run a bead, thin bead, all the way down. And best thing to use is a nice cotton white t-shirt, something like that. Nice damp. Wet your finger and just run it all the way down. Wipe it off. And you can do that sometimes a couple of times. If you want to use the rag itself over your finger, that works too, but a lot of times it smears the caulk all around. So I like to do it with my finger this way. This way I get a nice clean, crisp cleaning, especially in the corners. And these spots here, when you have a little corner, I'll show you quickly what I do. Run that. If you can see, now we have a corner here. You see how I can't get the caulk with my finger that good? It's kind of a round inside corner. So what I do, I take my spackle knife, I wrap that cloth right around the corner and get in that corner, press it and wipe off. That gives me a nice clean corner. This way when you go to paint, a bunch of paint is not gonna stick and accumulate right in that corner, and you're gonna have a nice clean paint job. Okay, so as you can see, I just put the mantle up. It just actually came right as I was putting the second coat of paint on. Got it from Wayfair. And this one is 72 inches long. There's various sizes. It's 9 inches this way, and 5.5 inches tall. I came with a 2x3 that was mounted on the inside, so it's hollow. They're made out of 3/4 inch boards, but almost looks like weathered barnwood, aged wood, but out of 3/4 inch boards. Inside it's hollow. It came with a 2x4, like I said, that was screwed into the bottom of it. Initially I put it upside down. Well, I think upside down at this point. I think these holes right here should be mounted on the bottom. Maybe if you use the 2x4 it would be easier, but I use that 2x3, and when I screw that on, that mantle was just tilted to the right, kind of leaning, and it just wasn't holding strong, so anything that you would put on top, it'd probably fall right over. So what I did is I reversed and put these holes right on top. I'll have to buy some plugs. It didn't come with plugs. They did have some screws in the bag right there, but no plugs. So I'll go ahead and go to a Lowe's or Home Depot, get some plugs, and kind of try to match the stain somewhat the same as this one. But if it's a little bit lighter, it's not going to be that much of a big deal if there's stuff that's going to be standing here. But I put these screws, 4-inch screws right here, that I drove through that 2x3 right into the studs. I found the studs, drove these long ones, that way everything's holding nice and tight. I mean, it's solid. And then for those holes, you could use the ones that they gave you. I'm actually going with some 2-inch screws that I have right here that I use for cabinets all the time. And I put one in there, I think. Yeah, I believe so. And let me just go ahead and add the other ones on. Oops. There we go. Last one. All right, so that's the final product right there. You have your fireplace surround, nice mantle on top. So for me, the next thing is to put the TV mount up and put the TV up. So if you got a few tools, a little bit of creativity, you can create something like this and dress up your fireplace area. Not too expensive, doesn't take a lot of money to do it, but it changes the look of the fireplace and the house completely. If you have any questions, write your comments, like my video, subscribe to the channel, and until next time for further videos. Thanks for watching.